And then my third high peak, I dragged my son along, and he hated me for that. But that's what parents are for. You're supposed to torture your kids. Hey everybody. I don't know if anybody has ever had any burning questions about me. I tend to be kind of an open book, but a while back I had posted if anyone had any questions to ask me, and here they are. Doug Stefnoski, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, asked, "It's very hard to break into YouTube backpacking videos. Do you have any plans to make this a full-time adventure?" Well, Doug, I don't really. If for some reason my channel took off and I had the ability to do that, maybe I would consider it. I'm a nurse and a server, and I make pretty good money working part-time doing those things. So for right now, no. I basically started the channel just to document what I was doing so that my friends and family could kind of follow along if they couldn't follow along with me physically. I also did it because I want to encourage people that are older or have health concerns. I want to help them understand that you can enjoy the outdoors. You might have to find what works for you, but you can do it, and I want to help people understand that, and I want them to gain that confidence so that they can get out there and do things. And I hope to bring some trails to people that are on both ends of the spectrum, either easy trails or some things that are a little bit more difficult and technical, including backpacking trips. Steve Lehman asked, "Have I always liked the outdoors?" Yeah, definitely I have. As a kid, I always wanted to be outside. I remember driving around, like Sunday drives when I was younger, and seeing these road signs saying, Trail 2. And it was pointing, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like there's places where you can just go and hike and explore. I'm a big explorer. I always want to see what's next. So in college, I decided to become part of the outing club. We did a ton of cool stuff in the outing club, and then life kind of happened, and about 10, 12 years ago, I hiked my first high peak with one of the doctors that I work with, and that was it. I was hooked, absolutely hooked. It took me a couple years to sort of get the ball rolling to start hiking in the high peaks consistently, and in my case it ended up being quite aggressive. It was life-changing for me for sure. Tracy Laslet asks, "When did I start backpacking, and why did I start to backpack?" So Tracy, thanks for asking. That is a really great question. I did not start to backpack until I was well into my high peaks journey. I've done quite a few hikes over many years, but I didn't grow up in a very outdoor-oriented family, so I never really knew that it was an option. I knew that people backpacked, but for me, that idea was like, the filthy Appalachian Trail through hiker with, when I was younger, I imagined them with framed backpacks and tube socks. I started backpacking because I wanted to be able to get more mountains in, really. And the more I stayed outdoors, the more I realized that the outdoors really healed my soul. The longer I was out, the quieter my mind became. And that was a really profound experience when I finally realized that. My first backpacking trip solo was my second high peak. It was Dick's Mountain, and man, was I really not prepared. I had a Walmart tent, a heavy pack. I had my Pyrenees with me, and it took everything I could get to that lean-to. And I think back on that now, and I did the same hike. I didn't make it to the summit, but I did that same hike in the winter last year, and I feel like it took me no time at all to get to the lean-to where that second high peak hike, and I was so out of shape. I feel like it took me all day, And for that hike, I ended up doing 2 days. Hiked into the lean-to, hiked up to the summit of Dix, back down, and then out. Last year, or earlier this year, I did the whole thing in a day in the winter, and it was like 5 below, so crazy. Dina Fazio asks, where am I in New York? I reside in Saratoga County, so I am south of the Adirondacks, and I spend most of my time up in the Adirondacks and down in the Catskills. I do go to New Hampshire, and I've also hiked in Maine. I've hiked Katahdin. I've been out to Colorado, and yeah, I hope to get out and do more. Jay Morrison asks 2 questions. First question, what is one adventure I would do over and over if time or money was not an issue? That is a great question because I haven't really gotten to some of the hikes that I feel like I would want to do over and over. Based on what I've done so far, I would say Colorado. I cannot wait to get back out to Colorado. I really want to hike the Collegiate Peak Loop. It is so gorgeous out there. Definitely that is a place, as of right now, I would go back to over and over again. The second question Jay has, have I ever been out on a trip where my fibromyalgia has prevented me from making out according to my plan or severely delaying my return? Also a very good question. My fibromyalgia has gotten in the way numerous times. I've tried to do the Great Range Traverse in the Adirondacks 3 times. One time I made it from Lower Wolfjaw to the top of Saddleback. The other 2 times I made it to Basin. Now, the messed up thing about that is if I were really smart, I would have just camped at the Snowbird campsite in between Basin and Haystack, but instead, knowing how I was going to feel the next day, I took what little energy I had left and I hiked out down to the Slant Rock lean-to. Now the messed up thing about that is I was over it, I hit a wall, I was absolutely exhausted, couldn't go any further, but I had to. In retrospect, I feel like that choice both times was a mistake. The one time I turned around from the top of Saddleback, I actually was injured and I was kind of hitting a wall. The other 2 times, I really should have spent that night. I do carry just barely enough gear to spend the night, so I could have, because I did spend the night in the Slant Rock lean-to, and the other time, I don't remember, I spent the night somewhere. I should have thrown caution to the wind, stayed at Snowbird, and attempted to continue the next day. So that's definitely the first one that comes into mind, for sure. I would like to try it again, but I feel like I need a second person with me to help motivate me, because it's really easy to get inside of your own head and decide that you can't do something. And I do know that sometimes physically I can't do something, but I would like to push myself a little bit harder. So that is a wonderful question, Jay. So short answer, yes, it gets in the way, but don't let that deter you and don't let it get in your way. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope everybody is getting out there and living their life. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.